It's Overkill time on the metal perspective. I'm Pete. This is Overkill guy. And that's
Swift Jesus.
yeah. Tell us about that.
All right. So, I'm chomping at the bit to talk about this album because it's primarily because it's Overkill and I'm biased as fuck. So, I don't know how to do ratings, but because it's Overkill, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 rating. Now, this is a lot better than the last album, which I wasn't the craziest of out of their more recent over the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I liked it, of course. I loved it, of course, because it was Overkill. But this album blows that album out of fucking water. So, this is their 20th studio album as a fucking band, almost 40 years now since their debut album, Feel the Fire. And I fucking love these guys. That's all I can say. Their music's phenomenal. Their attitude is just, fuck, literally, we don't care what you say, fuck you. And they've been doing this shit for so long, at their age to, still be doing what they're doing is, to me, that's, the best influence and inspiration of any fucking band.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy they're still doing it.
Not to be, not to mention being, in my opinion, criminally underrated. But, anyhow. So this is a 4 LP because it's two-sided disc.
Yeah, but
So
I mean, how long?
It's 10 tracks.
10 tracks, but I mean, how long are the songs? So that would kind of.
Oh shit! Anywhere from like 3 and some change or more.
Maybe change them more.
Yep.
Yeah. See, usually when they do that, when they're like 5 to 10-minute songs a pop.
Yeah. So I ordered this one straight from Nuclear Blast Records. It's their signature color. It's that
Right.
really bright green. Both vinyls.
Wow, that's cool.
It's limited to 1,000.
Limited to 1,000.
Yep.
Shit, yeah, man.
So, just one more to add to my collection.
Yeah.
But the tracks though, Scorched, self-titled track, kicks it off with like a melodic guitar solo intro, and then it just goes to a straight up fucking balls of the wall fucking Overkill thrash fucking song.
Oh yeah.
Going Home, kind of drawing a blank on that one. But then The Surgeon is their first single they released off of this before they released it. So it was the first one you can listen to on like iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. A catchy, another just straight balls of the wall fucking, thrash song by Overkill. Can't go wrong. Twist of the Wick, same thing. Now this song, Wicked Place, is probably my favorite one. Because this one is kind of catchy, groovy, and then like the chorus is like a breakdown, and it really has like a heavy fucking doomy tone to it. Really great song. I think that was their second single release to sample before the whole album was out. Won't Be Coming Back is just another good Overkill song. Fever, that has a melodic kind of bass intro and some Bobby Blitz singing melodic before it goes straight punchy in the fucking throat, Overkill style. The intro kind of reminds me of the song Coma off of their Horoscope album. Not saying it sounds the same, but the intro has a melodic bass opening, Dee Dee Verney. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, why I love this album too, is Dee Dee Verney's bass, I think, really stands out on this album. He went kind of, I don't know, not technical, but it really stands out though on this album as compared to a lot of their other albums. He's always been a great bass player nonetheless, because he's considered one of the forefathers of creating that clank tone that you hear in bass, along with Frank Bello of Anthrax. Kind of like how Steve Harris has his own sound. Like you hear a Steve Harris bass riff, that's Iron Maiden or a Steve Harris song, or British Lion song or whatever.
Right.
It's like, is that Iron Maiden? No, but it's Steve Harris, British Lion.
Well, absolutely. Totally identifiable.
Right. Yeah. Same with Jack Gibson Exodus has that same really raw, heavy clank tone. Steve DiGiorgio sometimes has it, but he not really a clank, but definitely a more technical approach, like having played with Death and Testament. But anyway, I just want to talk about bass because that song Fever kind of has a really good bass vibe to it. It really stands out. And then the next track, Harder They Fall, is another just another killer thrash song. Know Her Name is another one. Harder They Fall also has a lot of clanky bass, Dee Dee Verney. And then Bag of Bones is the last track, just another, they always got to talk about bones,
Yeah.
Skull and Bones, fucking Chally. So, yeah. So if you haven't listened to Overkill Scorched, I recommend check them out. This is probably one of my most anticipated albums of this year so far, along with Obituary's Dying of Everything album.
Yeah.
Another fucking great release this year. So, that being said, go listen to Overkill Scorched. Fucking buy their shit. Support this band because, without the funds from the fans, they wouldn't be as hitting it hard as they are. So,
I'm going to kind of screw you right now.
oh, go ahead.
So which one's better?
Between?
Overkill and Metallica there, the new albums.
Oh, Overkill.
Oh, okay.
Without a doubt. No question there.
Metallica's new. I like half of it. I liked half of it.
So,
I got to hear some at work.
okay.
And then there's a guy at work that has the app, and I listen to the whole thing. I'm like, okay. Half of it's good. It's about like, Hardwired had for me it was like 4 songs.
Hardwired was like 2 for me.
Yeah, and you didn't like Hardwired.
I liked the
I didn't like
the
a
first
lot
and
of
last
their
track.
shit, but I did like 4 of them.
So, I did listen to, what's the name of their new, Lux Eterna?
No,
Is that the name of
Seasons. That's
72 Seasons.
Song is Lux
Okay.
Eterna,
So, this may come to a shock to some people that those that know me and maybe those that listen to this podcast and heard the shit we talk about Metallica, but I actually like this album. They did something different. It didn't sound like the last album. It didn't sound like the last It didn't sound like the last fucking 6 albums.
8 fucking albums.
Yeah. I don't want to say that it was like, oh my god, they're thrash again, but it was on that edge. Mainly because it's a lot of thrash bands lately, like to include Overkill, Testament, Philosophy Jetsam, all the bands that are still hitting it hard. They're kind of, some of their later releases are sounding like, what's the term I'm looking for? Like the sound, the style of their newer stuff is sounding more of their influences from the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
It's sounding, to me, very heavily new wave of British heavy metal inspired influence. I don't like to say, certain bands or certain albums, sound like other certain bands or certain albums, but this album, though, 72 Seasons, in my opinion, had a new wave of British heavy metal vibe to it. So it's kind of like they were going back to their old roots.
I can see that.
Like hearing the song Lux Eterna and a handful of others, and they weren't too. And I think the reason why I liked it too is because it sounded like the majority of that album sounded like clean speed metal, in my opinion. Like it sounded like early Raven,
Okay.
It sounded like Saxon. It had some Motorhead vibe, which Metallica's always had anyway, because that's one of their biggest.
Yeah, a little bit,
influences.
yeah.
But I don't have anything bad to say about this album, believe it or not.
No,
I
no.
don't personally. We could shit on the last fucking 6 albums they released all day, but this one I really don't have anything bad to say about.
Yeah.
It's not, in my opinion, perfection up to Metallica standards.
No, by no
But
fucking stretch of the imagination. It's perfection to their standards. If you hear them talk about it, that's just where they went. But it's they're driving towards a different. It's a different sound, but it's an old sound.
It's a different sound, but an old sound. So it's kind of like almost going back to the early days of like the Kill 'Em All demos before the actual debut of Kill 'Em All, like the not Cliff Burton, but their original bassist, Dave Mustaine. The very early Metallica, it kind of gives it that vibe too, which is their influences being Saxon, Motorhead, Raven, all that shit, Iron Maiden. So yeah, I like 72 Seasons. I'm not gonna listen to it religiously like I would Scorched or anything else, but for Metallica, I give them props on this one. I think in my opinion, it's their best album since And Justice for All. Because I don't care for the Black Album. I don't care for Load or Reload. I forget Saint Anger existed because it was so fucking awful.
Same Wang.
Death Magnetic was meh. And then Hardwired was meh. So I give props to the boys.
Well, no, I mean, I guess you can go that way because there's not much to pick from after And Justice. I mean, I wasn't a big, strong fan of And Justice because I like the heaviest of the heavy thrash sound, the early fucking sound,
Yeah, And Justice for All is not my favorite, but it's, in my opinion, I can listen to that whole album, which I do on occasion, from start to finish. I do enjoy it just like I would, Kill 'Em All, Ride Lightning, Master of Puppets. And Justice for All is up there.
Yeah, but you can hear the change with And Justice.
Oh, for sure. But it was still a thrash metal album though.
Yeah.
I really like Blacken, and I like the self-titled track in Justice for All because it's a bit melodic. That's kind of when you hear the change, but then the majority of the song is very thrashy.
Even one was all a lot of it was all thrashy, but you could hear the change.
You could hear the melodic change for sure. Yeah. Like it was definitely the predecessor to Black Album, no question there. Yeah. But and I don't think Metallica sucks or is horrible for having released the albums that I don't care for.
Well, they can do whatever they want,
right? But it's not my go-to listening for Metallica. When I think Metallica, I think Kill 'Em All through And Justice for All. So.
I still think they suck. No, they don't suck as bad because when they came on with Hardwired and they had a few of the songs and it's kind of like an awakening kind of thing,
I think that was to draw in the actual.
This was a lot better.
Yeah. I think Hardwired was to when they released the Hardwired to Self-Destruct or the Hardwired title.
I think they played the thrashy shit on the radio.
Yeah, just to draw the old school fans in, and then.
But they've played a few songs on the radio that I didn't like from Metallica and the new 72 Seasons. I'm like, and then I heard some of the other shit. I'm like, actually, not fucking too bad at all. That's pretty good.
Well, I was hyped when I heard Hardwired, and because that was the first single of the album they released.
Like fucking, hey,
they honey dicked everybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
kinda. For two fucking...
they honey dicked the old school
two fucking
fans.
discs, man, or for two fucking records, and you only had, for me it's 4 songs, for him it's,
two.
It's 2.
It started thrash and it ended thrash.
Yeah.
And everything in between was kind of, whatever.
But,
I'm bored.
I don't know whose idea it was to do thrash, and I'd like to shake their fucking hand, because, even if it was Ulrich, but I doubt it was him.
If they would at least keep it like half and half,
I fucking hate Lars, man. We all know I have no love.
If they do 10 songs, like let's just say if the previous album, Hardwired, if half of say it was 10 tracks, I don't know how many tracks it was, but let's just say an even number of 10. and at least 5 of those fucking songs, to include, Hardwired, Spit Out the Bone, at least 3 more sounded like that, I would have had a lot more love for that album.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, it started thrash, so it started good and it ended fucking great. Everything in between, to me, was boring.
Nah, boring.
Yeah.
This fucking guy. I'm more forgiving on him, and I hate Metallica.
Well, like I said, I think 72 Seasons is a redemption. In my opinion.
I talk a lot of shit about
They
him.
changed it again, but I think they changed for the better. So.
But I like fucking Hetfield's. He says we're just all a bunch of mediocre players, and that when we were reading that, and I'm like, I wouldn't call them mediocre players. They're decent players. They're above average, but I wouldn't call fucking. But I will fucking put the stop on Lars there.
Well, let's just
think
say
he's that great of a fucking drummer.
Let's just say that the 2 bands that, not just.
And Newstead, the bassist, fucking underrated, and it's a shame what they did.
So let's just say that the band that Kirk Hammett originally came from before Metallica, being Exodus, and the bands that.
Well, he's not bad at all.
Robert Trujillo came from, Suicidal Tendencies, Infectious Grooves, Black Label Society, Ozzy, are way fucking better than Metallica.
Yeah.
So those 2 musicians, I think, are.
I don't think Trujillo's that great of a fucking.
I do.
A lot better than Morello.
Because he can nail the.
I've seen him fuck some shit up, man.
He can nail a lot of the Cliff Burton riffs though.
Yeah.
So
he's not shit. Anybody could do that nowadays. And once it's done, and it's all on making the music like they did. That's what makes somebody special, is making the music and making it sound good, not copying somebody else's shit. Which there are a lot of artists out there that copy a lot of shit, right down to painters and fucking sculptors, but a lot of hired guns are really good at that. Playing, club players, shit like that. A lot of guys are real fucking good, but it takes somebody, to like hear, hey, these are the lyrics, and I kind of have it sound like this, and then somebody jump in and go, hey, how about this? Boom, 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 that's where the magic happens. It's the people who have the input, and not just play shit.
Yeah.
Or have the guitarist. See, I'm not that great of a bass player at all. But you'd have the guitarist say, "Hey, I want you to do an E. I want you to do this and this and this and this," and then you're following. It's like, and then you're leading to a point. You're with the fucking drummer.
Yeah,
but
you kind of want to go off on your own. You follow the root notes of the guitar.
Oh yeah.
But you're at the same time you're keeping rhythm with the the double bass kick,
but
well as a little bit of your own finesse, kind of like most bass players do.
But what makes you good bass or guitar player is the filler that you add to it.
Mm-hmm.
Not just the bass tone, or of the guitar or whatever. It's what you can add with, and what you can get away with, and make sound good in between just the basic tone of the song. You can listen to that like Def Leppard. Nobody's gonna ever call that guy a great bass player because he just falls along with the bass tone of the fucking music.
Yeah.
You have great players, Les Claypool, Steve Harris. Steve Harris writes the fucking shit, man. He is the fucking music man.
Yeah.
Him and Dickinson and Murray and Smith, but they all collaborate. But when it comes down to it, it's a lot of Steve Harris is the one who's making shit.
They are
does like 60%.
Iron Maiden is a 3 guitar army, but the bass I think stands out the most.
Right.
Well, but it's
At
also
least
Harris.
in the rhythm section.
Harris writes most of the songs.
Steve Harris stands out the most. They're definitely like, if you're like a bass player and you love bass and especially metal, Iron Maiden is a go-to band for everybody in that aspect.
Yeah, for sure.
The biggest reason why I don't think Ellefson's the spectacular bassist that a lot of people say, because a lot of the songs he keeps the bass tone of the song and he doesn't do anything special. Now,
No, he does. He has some jazzy riffs.
No, there are some that are, but
that deviate from the actual like main,
yeah,
notes
there
of the guitar.
are some, but it's like there are some bands out there that you could hear the bass is damn near a fucking bass solo in some of these fucking songs, man. And there's a lot to it if you hear it. If they didn't drown it out, I heard the bass track laid over and Justice for All, and what he added to it. A couple of them were just like holding the bass tone, the tone of the song, and a couple of them are like, holy shit, why'd they cut the fucking bass out of the album?
Mm-hmm.
They cut the bass out of the album, which is fucking ridiculous. But I heard the tracks laid over of the Injustice, the whole fucking album, like, that's a whole different album, and this is a mistake they didn't fucking put it out. They would have been bigger than they were. It was just fucking, it was great. If anybody ever gets a chance, if you ever get a chance, listen to the bass laid over the fucking song. It's awesome. And it's the cut that he laid down that they cut out. It's really him doing it, but it's not, so it's pretty cool shit. But, I don't absolutely hate Metallica, we all know this. I'm really hard on them for a band that's supposed to be like fucking worldly, and we're the best, and the best, and the best, and when you have the philosopher fucking Lars talking all kinds of shit, you gotta give it back,
You're disappointed.
I am disappointed. I'm disappointed by Big Mouths. It's like you get 15 minutes of fame and they'll fucking stand on a soapbox.
I was about to say, it seems like the most hated member of Metallica is Lars. 1 for Napster, 2 for just the drama.
Yeah. He was gonna make his money anyway.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to talk about was Thunderflicks. Remember?
No.
You wrote down up there?
I did.
Motherfucker. Wrote it down in purple, too. I've cruised through the website. They have a lot of shit. They have death in there, for Christ's sakes. They have the app here doesn't tell you shit. They just show you like Meatloaf and Black Sabbath, Aerosmith, the Scorpions, Velvet Revolver. They have all these, some of them are documentaries, some of them are concerts. They had the Bay Area Thrash documentary. They had Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast documentary in there. They have all kinds of Iron Maiden shit. They have all kinds of Metallica stuff. They have Slipknot. I know you don't like Slipknot. But Deep Purple 2001 concert, they have shit like that in there. For the $6.66 or the $66.60 for the year. That's not too fucking bad, dude.
Yeah, how much?
So it's $666 a month, or if you bought the year, it's $66.60. So either way, it's $666, but you're getting it's pretty cool.
And it's all heavy metal.
It's
rock
all
and
metal,
roll.
hard rock. They had AC/DC in there. They have new metal. It's metal.
Do they have movies like
Yeah, they had actually. What's funny is they have Nosferatu in there. They had a couple movies in there. They have a free trial, by the way, so you can go home.
Yeah, free trial means you get it free for a month, and they still ask for your fucking credit card information.
Yeah,
and bill you the following month.
Yeah, you just
without
have to
cutting you
remember
off.
To, take your credit card off and like at 25 days or something, say, hey, I don't want it. If you don't want it, but if you want it, there's content there. It looks pretty cool. I'm gonna do the 1 month. I went to the website. I didn't want to, do any fucking trials or put my credit card down on shit until I did my homework on it. And I think I might pull the trigger. That's for you fucking Dems. I might pull the trigger on doing the free trial. I don't like free trials because like I said, at the end of the fucking month they bill you and you you fucking forget.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
instead
how they
of
get
sending
you.
you a reminder, hey, you don't have a free trial anymore. Maybe you should put a credit card in here. No, they want your fucking credit card up front. So
That's why one thing people started doing was they get prepaid cards.
yep.
They'll do that. So if it gets billed or whatever the hell it is, they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because it'll run out of money.
I'm gonna have to tell Mike about that Lawhorn. He'll fucking love that.
Yeah, Thunderflix. Well, if he was smart, he'd be watching the show right fucking now.
I need to reach out to him though the next time because I don't have time. On Tuesday, coming home from work and then having to make dinner and then
Well, I can jam down.
Doing
and-
adult
and,
shit.
See what he does. Pick him up or do whatever if he wants.
because he's closer to me. So when he was joining us, I would usually pick him up. But then again, he's working crazy hours. I don't hear from him very often. I usually have to call him nowadays to get a hold of him,
Yeah.
talk to him, see what's going on. But
Yeah, I have to go down to where he fucking works to talk to him.
the hospital,
Yeah, the hospital.
not as a patient, but as an employee.
My mom was a patient last time I saw him. So yeah, I'm like I forgot he was fucking there. But yeah, man, Thunderflix. And I hear the other thing I hear is $6 billion lost from Bud, and they did their goofy little. Did you see the fucking new Budweiser commercial? All American shit, and we're this, we're that, and they have a black guy and a white guy hanging out, and then they have a white guy and some Mexican girl or something, fucking bringing a flag up, and they're all we never forget, and then they show the fucking background in New York. You pandering motherfuckers. Fuck you, the damage is done.
It's like, what does it fucking matter anymore?
Talk about a backtrack, man. Holy shit.
They backtrack big time. I think the biggest thing is nobody cares.
I don't care what color the person is that's the poster child in the fucking ad.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't interrupt my fucking YouTube video and it's a product that I'm willing to support regardless of who the fucking poster child is. I don't give a shit.
Did you shut the smoker off?
No.
It did shut off.
I shut it off.
Oh, you did? Okay, I'm just making sure.
So, Dylan Mulvaney, that fucking deal, that's what we're talking about, Budweiser.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, with that being said, I think the big thing is when they have some literal pile of shit, dude, some little dude.
Yeah, but there's a couple.
No.
Like a couple of spokesperson for a couple of different companies now.
Yeah. But when you have a dude representing women, that pisses off a lot of fucking women.
Pisses me off. You know what? Because look, they were just showing me at work a video of somebody, and it was a guy dressed up like a girl
Yeah.
buying tampons and shit,
Mm.
and saying my period's real, and I'm like, you know what? If any man knew what a real period was like, they would not want it.
It's
None
called
of these transgender people.
it's
want
called to
period.
get fucked in the ass, and they
I'm
need
like,
it, and they
so
they
you-
need it to keep from bleeding out.
Yeah, I'm like, are they just picking up their ass or something?
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
It's like
Took a-
fucking weird, man.
No, it's
That's
disgusting what they're doing to women.
Yes, the so-called how does that support the so-called feminist movement? It doesn't.
Well, no, and the whole thing is, they're getting a lot of backlash from the actual gay community, and and I agree with a lot of people that say you need to drop the T off the fucking LGBT.
Yeah, because being gay,
Actually, just call it the G.
Being
gay,
gay-
gay is gay.
being gay is one thing, but shoving this whole transgender shit in everyone's fucking face, and then trying to normalize drag queens, trying to entertain children, that's where you gotta drop the fucking.
Well, instead of calling them bisexual, you should call them on the fence.
Did
You
you
know,
see
if they
that?
don't care if you're gay or not, or I really don't care. Give a shit.
Did you see that that meme that's been floating around with the wolf, and the wolf is wearing like makeup, like like drag queen makeup, and it says, and he's licking his lips, and it says, "I just want to read some books to your chickens."
Rice is a little crispy.
Oh shit! It was still on.
Yeah.
Well, you can always skim the top off. I'll eat the fucking.
Now you
We've
got
been
Rice.
in here for 34 minutes.
Now you got Rice Krispie
Holy
treats.
shit.
Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a gander at what this looks like.
All right, intermission to be continued. I'm gonna drain the lizard.
Left the producer all by himself.
That's right. Keep it going, Jesus. Swift Jesus.
I'll do my best. I got a few things to talk about. It's a fucking metal festival being canceled. New band with the singer from Kill Switch, Mr. Howard Jones. Taking a gander.
We got dead air. Are you talking?
I am talking.
All right, finish talking. Talking up a storm.
I had a few things. One, there's a new band called Scion that was formed in 2020 and released an album in 2021
The last Scion.
that has Howard Jones from Kill Switch, the lead singer, and Jared Dines, Mr. Rob Scallon's buddy, the guy that normally does
Right.
did the videos of playing Gent with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
dude.
cool.
Yeah, so they've got a band going together. I think it's just them. It looks like.
No shit.
And then I had a metal festival canceled. Dominion Festival.
No shit.
Let's see if you remember or you know any of these names. Blind Guardian, I know of. Orange Goblin, Twilight Force, Sereth Ungol, Visigoth, High Spirits, Liminal, Green Lung, Night Demon, Tigers of Pantang, Riot City, Killanova, Knot, Skindred, Lucifer. I don't know that one. White Spirit, Twister. Was it Girls Chew? Time Child and Crowley. I know Crowley. But it was canceled.
But you know why it was canceled, right?
Ticket sales.
Well, but you know why there weren't ticket sales? A lot of ticket sales.
Why?
Do you see a fucking headliner in there? I mean, Blind Guardians. That's their headliner. Orange Goblin is their headliner, and Skindred's their headliner.
Yeah.
Sodom's bigger than fucking all those guys.
Yeah.
What?
But and they're not fucking headliners.
It was a Dominion Festival.
Dominion Festival
it's canceled.
in Durham. Is that Ireland?
Blind Guardian
let's see.
is
Yeah, but they're not. They're fucking sad. They're the fucking band that comes on before the big bands. These
Blind Guardian's considered like either the second or the third biggest power metal band of all time.
Yeah.
They're from the 80s.
Yeah, but you're talking. This is who's
So-
at the festival, and God knows how
You know
much
what? I'm not gonna
fucking-
lie to you. The majority, just from what I can see, because my fucking eyesight's getting shittier. Majority of those fucking bands are good. You got holy shit. You got fucking. You got Orange Goblin. Fucking Visigoth is good. Night Demon. You got some fucking new wave of British heavy metal.
Find out how
veterans.
much
You
the
got
tickets
fucking-
were.
You got fucking Diamond Head, Tigers of Pantang. Oh, fuck,
Well-
where's this at? I want to go.
They might be great, but
And
they're
not to mention fucking Sodom.
well, not necessarily well known or popular.
You would need somebody that would carry 'em.
Yeah, you need someone
You
with
need
recognition.
a big fucking name. Usually with big festivals, there's at least one or two.
There's
big names.
There's two that stand out to me as the biggest, which is Sodom and Blind Guardian.
Right. But yeah, and that's why I said Sodom's the biggest
But
one. on
I
the
know
deal.
at least half that fucking that lineup, and they're fucking good. I can tell
Yeah,
you that.
they're
You
they're
would
not
like-
bad, but I'm just saying you need A-list fucking bands on.
You would like, just knowing your style, being old school, but bands that are newer, but sound old school. You would like Sereth Ungol, and you would like Visigoth.
I've heard Visigoth.
I fucking love Visigoth.
Yeah, no, they're not bad. I'm not.
They sold less than 5% of their tickets.
Sereth Ungol is kind of like
how much were the tickets though?
It didn't say.
they
Yeah.
sold what?
Less than 5%.
Less than 5%.
Why?
No, I don't know. It could be the price and you know, I mean, like I said, you need at least one headliner. Shit, if you
Fucking
had,
Blind Guardian.
no, I mean like Maiden or something.
Well,
You need a fucking name. If Anthrax was there, they would have been sold the fuck out. They said, oh, that would have been worth fucking going to see, you know.
okay. If you want a band bigger than Blind Guardian, you know, let's just say another power metal band than Halloween or Manowar,
There you go.
and then it would have sold out.
Or they would have sold at least, you know, enough to fucking have the festival.
Fucking Hammerfall, or Sabaton.
Yeah, it's fucking Sabaton. You would
Judas
have had
Priest.
Sabaton there, they would have fucking
Judas Priest. That would have sold.
Sabaton, Judas Priest. You would have had any of those two fucking bands, probably would have fucking kicked off.
But
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, me alone, I would love to see that fucking festival right
Yeah,
there. Oh my
but
god,
it's-
that's badass fucking.
Oh yeah, that's me and you.
Combination
I'd
bands
go
right
to
there.
the fucking festival, but you know, I get in. Where the fuck is?
I'm trying to. I can't find the actual. I'm actually on their website.
But where it's? I know it's in Europe.
I have no clue.
Of course, it's in Europe. That's where all the good fucking shows and festivals are.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We get what do we get in Florida? Fucking Rockville.
That's it. Yeah. Unfortunately.
And the majority of the bands, I could give two fucks less to see, but the bands I really do want to see are not any of the main headliners, and they're probably only going to get like a 25, 30-minute set. So,
Yeah. No, it's fuck.
and I'm not spending all that fucking money just to see like 3 or 4 bands that I really would like to see. It's a lot
The
of fucking
north
money.
of England. North of England.
Yeah, North of England. Yeah, Durham.
It's putting its marker down as the premier metal festival for North of England.
All right. Yeah, I knew it was fucking either fucking Ireland. I'm not fucking European. I'm not English. You know, ever fucking pretend to be. So I wouldn't know where the fuck they are,
Nor wannabe.
or nor wannabe. I'm
Uh,
American. America. Fuck yeah.
My ancestors came from over there.
So did mine. My
I
great
mean,
grandmother.
literally England, though.
Yeah, my
England
great
and
grandmother came from England.
England, France, shit. Yeah, his direct grandma, great grandma.
I mean, my last name's Chester. That kind of fucking, you know, narrows it
Yeah.
down.
We're a bunch of frogs over here. Or
You are.
Parsley frog. Anyway. But, yeah. Let's see. Fucking A.
I remember.
Hey.
I remember when I was a kid. I went to my great grandma's house to, just spend some time with her. Hadn't seen her in years. And she was making everybody a grilled cheese because that's what she wanted to do. And I felt really uncomfortable because I had to be fed first because I was the man. And it just like made me because growing up it was everybody was equal. You get your food.
Some
And you
cultures
go
are
eat
like that.
Yeah, but that was the thing. She was from fucking she was born in 30 something. So, I mean, from a whole different time.
Yeah. She's like old England shit.
Yeah.
Kingdom. Fucking.
Well, fuck. She
Festival.
she left England during World War II. So
Yeah. No, she was also one of the ones that went to the little kid camps.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. Yeah, they did that when because they were bombing the shit out of fucking London and crap.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of whole, cultures and how, they take care of their men and vice versa. So, some of my mom and dad, and myself, our closest friends, back in California, Brett and Maria, hey, you're famous now, so I'm talking about you. Maria's from Ponape, which is in Micronesia, which is, the channel of islands around Guam.
Mhm.
Well, over there, at least in Ponape, even though I've been to Guam, I don't know if Guam's the same way, because that's like the bigger, well-known, island out of that whole Micronesia territory. If the woman is not heavyset, then in their belief or whatever, then the man is neglecting you and not taking care of you, and they should. So his first visit, this is what I was told. His first visit to Ponape, they all kind of like looked at him like he was an asshole because Maria played softball. You know, she stayed home, took care of the kids, but she did all these other extracurricular stuff like fishing, surfing,
She took care of herself.
softball. So she was fairly well fit.
Yeah.
So because she had she was Americanized at that point, and but yeah, they kind of looked at her husband Brett like he was an asshole or something because she was slim and not heavier.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were, and so he asked Marie. He's like, "Why is everyone? Is it because I'm like white or something?" And I guess she said something like, "No, it's because I'm not fat, so they think you don't take care of me properly." Like depriving them of food
Right,
or whatever
right.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like back.
Oh, by
Let's
the way,
see.
those tickets are over $130 American.
Jesus.
They're $108. They start at $108 sterling pound
Per one day?
per day, or for it is the day.
Okay.
So that's not too bad. I would have
No.
paid
For that many
$130
bands?
for
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 good
that
few?
for that lineup, fuck yeah.
But it's just like back in 100 years ago, like medieval times and shit. Heavier women were deemed more attractive, or even just
Well, they
heavier
were
people in
rich,
general,
too.
because it deemed them to be rich.
They weren't peasants. Yeah, they didn't have to work to fucking
And you were deemed
survive.
healthier for that.
until they had their heart attack at 50
Yeah.
or in their 40s. Yeah. Yeah, those are old times. So, I've got an ender here. I have Metal Injection has well, fuck, man. They have an article here on what are Bobby Blitz's favorite Overkill records.
Oh, I just saw that.
Oh God.
Yeah,
All the ones we hate.
fucking A, man. And it's a video. I don't want to watch the video.
I will. Well,
Yeah,
later
we'll
on.
watch
later
it,
on
yeah.
in my own time.
Yeah, maybe we'll watch that video and then come back and say, hey, his,
Speaking of
listen
fucking
out.
A, that's kind of like a Canadian, term.
Yeah.
Or quote. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. Speaking
Yeah,
of
no, we always said fucking A.
speaking of Canadians, it's too bad you're not
You're
going to
fucking
be.
California too, you cocksucker.
Well, speaking of Canadians, it's too bad you're not going to be joining me on Saturday to see Anvil.
Yeah, it'd be cool. I got fucking overtime work to do.
Don't make me twist your arm. God damn it.
Take the day off.
Fuck yeah.
Well, I can't say it now, man.
Well, at least the following
Holy
day off.
shit.
Well, the following day. Just call and say.
Well, we watched your show, asshole. We know.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we know you took the fucking day off because you went to. I don't give a shit. Sue me. Write me up.
Oh, shit.
That's what I'll say. But anyway, on that note, it's been an early fucking night. It's been, 50 minutes or less?
Oh yeah. We didn't go on too much of a
43.
rant.
43 minutes. Shit, I feel like I cheapened everybody out. But unfortunately, we do have an.
It's okay. We covered the meat and potatoes. We talked about Overkill's new album. We talked about Metallica's new album.
Anything upcoming?
What is upcoming?
I know you were talking about this weekend.
Other than shows, we Anvil is Saturday.
Yeah.
Morbid Angel is Friday out in
Okay,
Tampa.
that's what
I'm not going to that one because I can't make them all. Unfortunately, I'd love to, but as far as travel and expenses, it just it's not feasible.
Starts getting expensive.
And I'd rather see Anvil because they've never come to Florida and they're finally coming to Florida.
Yeah.
So
Apparently, Testament's working on new material, supposedly with a new drummer.
I heard.
Well, that's always going to be good.
So wow, in the past couple of years since the Titans of Creation album, they've had Gene Hoglan, who's a phenomenal drummer. Fucking Dave Lombardo. I saw. I think he was their touring drummer, but I saw him with Testament when I saw him live.
Right.
And now they got someone new.
Now, I'm going to go out here and say what makes a band. You can have people replaced in the band, and what makes the band is usually the singer or the guy who does the writing.
Say, well, the
lyricist.
the majority of these bands that that have been around now for
Right.
going on 40 years, like
Right.
your your new wave of British heavy metal guys, your thrash guys,
Right.
your death metal guys, they only have like 1 to 3 original members left in the band
Right.
from the beginning. Overkill, it's Bobby Blitz and Dee Dee Verney, bass player and singer. So
Right.
so obviously the tone it is going to change a little bit because Dee Dee and Bobby do the majority of the writing, but
Yeah, but it sounds
right.
a lot the same.
Right.
You know,
It-
that's the
it
whole
does,
thing,
but-
it's the
but
writing
every-
tone.
But every album of theirs doesn't sound like any other album they've done before. It's
Right.
different, but you can still tell that it's Overkill.
Yeah, you can tell it's over.
Just like
but that's the
every
thing.
and having watched some documentaries last night on metal, Max Cavalera was in one of them, and that's why, and he said the reason why like Sepultura's sound changed so much from like their very first albums, which were like straight up death metal, and then more into like more groove thrash to like straight up like almost new metal with like the Roots album.
Mm-hmm.
What he said was because we don't want to write the same album twice.
Right, and that's that's hats off to him for that. But AC/DC's different, and a lot of other bands are different. They'll write the same album over and over again.
Some bands can pull it off.
Well, yeah, and what you're talking about is like
Like
say
even Iron Maiden.
AC/DC, it's 100 song album.
And in my opinion, every Iron Maiden album is different.
Yeah.
It still obviously goes without
Well,
saying it's fucking
Killers,
Iron Maiden.
Yeah,
but-
Killers and Iron Maiden sound a lot the same. You can hear the progression. Then fucking Number of the Beast was a complete different deal.
Well, you can hear the progression in Iron Maiden to Killers because it was a bit more melodic when you hear like
it
the
was
Ides
still-
of
but it was
March
still a
and
lot of the-
Murders in the Rue Morgue.
A lot of the punky sound to it
Yeah.
too, punky hard rock.
Yeah, but
sound.
they started to have more of a melodic approach though,
right.
and I think that's kind of why, that's why it's like okay with Paul Di'Anno it wasn't gonna work out. They need somebody that sounded more like Rob Halford, or Biff Byford, somebody
Right.
with more melody in their voice.
But that's the other thing too is you had Number of the Beast and then Peace of Mind, which is basically a continuation.
Was
of
Peace of
Number
Mind
the
after Number?
Beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is it's a continuation, dude. It's a continuation.
It's a
of
sequel,
Number of the Beast.
but
Yeah,
and I think
I think it was said that it was intended to be, and it sounds a lot like it. But Power Slave is 100% full. You can hear the difference.
Well,
You can tell it's them, but you can hear the difference.
I think one because too it's like the artwork of like Eddie is always a different character and like a different time somewhere.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of the mentality of like the album sounds different because the album cover is different.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a psychological thing. Like, you hear Number of the Beast, and then you hear, and then you see the artwork. Then you see the artwork of Peace of Mind. He's in a straight jacket, and like in padded walls, and then it's like okay, this album's completely different. And then you hear Power Slave. Then you hear Seventh Son, and it just keeps going on. And it's like different artwork, and then so the theme
It's
is
a different sound too. Yeah.
It has like a different theme every album. of
Yeah.
theirs anyway.
But
Judas Priest, you can definitely hear change
yeah.
from Rock-a-Rolla, through the 70s,
yeah.
through the 80s, the 90s, like.
Well, I think that's
hard-
a whole. They do a couple albums that sound a lot like each other.
Yeah.
But there's a heavy progression.
they
from
change.
decade to decade.
Yeah, so like you hear like Rock-a-Rolla, Sin After Sin, Sad Wings of Destiny. Those 3 albums all have kind of the same sound to them, but then when they hit 1980 British Steel, that was a completely different sounding album than the ones they did in the 70s.
Right.
And then of course here come the 90s, and then you got fucking Painkiller, and that was like holy shit,
Yeah.
and then the hiatus with Rob Halford to get Tim Ripper, and that's even a more fucking hardcore sounding album. You're like, holy shit, that doesn't sound like Judas Priest anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So with that being said, I think that's it, and I hope everybody has a good night.
Cheers.